All right, we're heading west now, the Derby. So it's an important Derby, but it's also a special one because David Mundy draws alongside a pretty familiar face at the top of his club's honour board.
I first remember the hair, the curls and the smile. That's David Mundy.
He's happy, Mundy. That's his first goal in AFL football.
Dig a little deeper and there's a killer instinct. I love it all. Always have about you. A warrior to play with. A work ethic unlike I've ever seen. Every single day for 18 long seasons, he got the best out of himself. And that's why he powers on. Getting better with age.
Delightful. The hurdle and the goal. He can do it all, David Mundy.
A true icon of the club.
Look sensational.
A legend of the game.
Fremantle win it after the siren. David Mundy, you're a star.
I couldn't be prouder of you. And for you. Happy 353rd, mate.
The words of Matthew Pavlich, and on Sunday, that's who David Mundy will sit alongside. He's with us tonight on AFL 360. David, congratulations and welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jared. It's a pleasure to be here, mate.
What does it mean? So you've had a set of milestones over recent years. Is this a particularly special one?
I guess in a sense, yeah. I've played obviously a lot of football with Matthew over the journey, and to draw a level with his games record this week is something really special. He's someone I hold in really high regard. Yeah, so obviously it's a special occasion. Is it flattering to hear the regard that he holds you in? Yeah, it always is. You know, Matthew's obviously made a significant stamp on our game and was a true leader of our football club and someone I looked up to in our time together. So, yeah, we spent a lot of good times together and a lot of really difficult, hard times together. So, yeah, those kind of moments and those kind of ups and downs have forged a great friendship.
Well done, Dave. Feel free to share the Fountain of Youth secret that you've managed to stumble across, mate. I'm sure there'll be some blokes out there that would love to hear it. Hey, coming up in the Derby this week, your milestone game, does that make it extra special having that little bit of spice in the game this week? Yeah, thanks, Nick. I'll keep those secrets to myself. But yeah, but Derbies are always a really special time in WA. The whole state gets behind it. I was just reading before, we've had a lot of people debut in derbies before, and yeah, to have this kind of milestone pop up in the game, yeah, might put a bit of extra spice on it, make it a little bit more special. And on top of that, our derby earlier this year was in front of no crowd, so we'll have a home derby with crowds this weekend, which will make it great. And after West Coast losing on the weekend, it makes it a really interesting game, obviously getting into the top 8 for both sides. So yeah, there's a lot of factors going into the game this weekend, and hopefully we can keep a calm head and play well. The recent record is another factor, David. Is the Freo have won plaudits progressively through this period, but it's 11 in a row that you've lost in derbies, and a couple of those have been pretty galling, I would think. What do you make of the recent record? Yeah, clearly the record reflects where the two clubs have been at over the last few years. We entered a rebuild stage at the end of 2016 and it's been a slow build out of that. And in those years, West Coast have been a really dominant force within the AFL. So, yeah, it certainly hurts a little bit. I think before this 11 in a row run that West Coast have been on, if we had have won their first game in this run, we would have evened the ledger overall. Right. Which would have been a remarkable kind of place to be after the early years in particular with Fremantle's history. So, yeah, it would be nice to try and turn those tables around and start our own run. Dave, what about your teammate Stephen Hill, who retired this week? Just looking at the numbers, so he started in 2009. He's finished up this week. You started in 2004, a full 5 years earlier, and you're still going as strong as ever, mate. Does that make you feel extra old when you see something like that happen? Yeah, it certainly does. And I guess it just highlights how remarkably lucky I am and how fortunate I am to continue doing what I love. Spent a lot of great time with Stephen as well, obviously, and yeah, to see him come in and have some really bad luck with injuries over the last few years and really hold him up has been super disappointing, but he was a remarkable teammate. And this season, so we have marvelled at you a few times. In fact, I'm sure we spoke earlier in the season. Have you enjoyed it? Above all else, have you enjoyed the year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Justin coming in as head coach last year and the development and progression of our younger players all across the ground, there is certainly a level of enjoyment within the club, and I think guys understand, the pathway that we're on. We have a really solid core of really driven young athletes at our football club who are desperate for success and desperate to push the club back into the spotlight like we once were. So, to come into that kind of environment every day, it makes it really enjoyable.
Hey, well, some of those young, talented blokes you speak about are players like Adam Chera, and there's a lot of speculation about his future at the moment, what he might or might not do. As a senior player with a long, proud history at the Fremantle Football Club, do you speak to him at all about his future?
Not really. Adam knows how valued he is to us and within our program, and to his credit, he's been as bought in as any one of us this year, and certainly hasn't wavered in his effort and discipline and the way he goes about it at the football club. So it's obviously a big decision. We've all gone through it. He'll probably go through it again at some stage, I imagine. But we just let him know and make sure that he feels valued and understood, and I guess give him that space to make a pretty heavy life decision.
Now, Nick, do you and Dave have a link that goes back to a certain Irish trip?
We were teammates, actually, in Ireland, and every day we'd sort of walk along the corridors and get ready to go out for an excursion in Ireland, and you'd hear the noise coming out of the Mundy's room, and you think, oh, he's in a bit of trouble in there. Dave, is the only regret you've got in your career taking your kids on the 2015 trip to Ireland?
It certainly made it much more difficult.
My gosh, you poor man.
We had a fantastic time though, and it was a great trip. But yeah, certainly paid for it in the weeks since we got home post that trip. It was a long way to get it back over, the jet lag for all of us.
David, have a great one on Sunday, and congratulations on the next marker in your extraordinary career.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night.
David Mundy, who's about to join Matthew Pavlich on the game's records.
Felt sorry for him for 2 weeks. The kids didn't cope too well with the adjustment in Ireland.